Now scroll up and you'll see your video.
No, just don't come up. And I'll tell you when. It's embarrassing.
It's loading. Yeah, it's on now. She's live. You should see it. Do you see it?
Hello. Have a few moments for people to rejoin since I went live from my personal page. We'll try this again.
It says she's live. Yeah.
Can anybody see me?
No. Wait.
I can start it again.
Hold on. It is public. Likes a video. Oh, yeah. Joni's on.
Okay. Thank you, Joni, for letting me know that it's working.
It's okay. She said this happens.
Okay, so welcome back. I went live on my personal page, so we are going to try this again. So my name is Ziggy Pollack, if you missed the first introduction. I'm beyond honored that Orange Ribbons for Jamie has invited me to share a makeup tutorial with you guys. They are doing this incredible movement where they are doing lives. If you guys haven't seen them, there was a lot of fitness lives last week that were really great, a really awesome yoga class. And so these were also shared after the live is completed, and you can watch them on YouTube if you're not able to join us today. All right, so let's go ahead and get started for a second time. And we are going to start with an eyeshadow primer. Why eyeshadow primers are so important is they are going to help with the longevity of the shadow and making sure that it stays on until you wash it off, as well as making your colors show up a little bit more pigmented and more bold. So if you've ever tried on an eyeshadow and it showed up as a really light wash of color, using an eyeshadow primer can really help with that, as well as concealer. So if you don't have an eyeshadow primer on hand, you can also just go in with a little bit of concealer that matches your skin tone on your eyelid, and that's going to help brighten everything up and smooth out any texture. Hi, Delaney. How are you? All right, so as far as primer goes, I'm actually going just to use a NARS concealer today. Just because I feel like concealer might be something a little bit more on hand that we might have. But as far as a good eyeshadow base, I use this one a lot called P. Lousy's eyeshadow primer base. It's kind of just a nude color that helps with longevity. But again, I'm just going to go in with my concealer from NARS today with a flat brush. But you can also use your finger. They make a great tool for really melting that cream product into the skin. All right. We're just going to go ahead and add some of this all over the eye lightly and up to the brow. And a nice way to not get too much texture and too much product underneath the brow line is I apply to my eye here and then go ahead and take my finger and tap out the rest to blend, because we don't want an oversaturation of this product on the eyes, but enough to give us a really nice, smooth blank canvas to start with. Hi, Erica. Hi, Dana. I miss you guys so much. So cool to be all virtually getting ready together today. All right. So one of my favorite things is a blending brush. So a good blending brush is really going to make a big difference on how your eyeshadow blends and how smooth it looks. So any kind of good fluffy brush that you have on hand would be a really good blending brush for now. I am using one by Morphe. And then our smooth concealer, I used shade Vanilla, which is shade 2. All right. So as far as eyeshadows go, today I'm going to be using just some light everyday brown shades. This is the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. It's a really good basic brown eyeshadow palette. I love it because all of the shades are matte. And that is also another important thing. When we are working with colors in our crease line, we always want to focus on matte shades. So anything that's kind of like a shimmery brown or a shimmery color looks better on the lid area here opposed to our crease. That is going to create texture. So try to avoid using shimmers in the crease. So try to find any kind of shades of matte brown that you have on hand, going from light to dark. I generally like to use 3 shades of brown just to create a nice gradient, and go from dark to light, as well as kind of a white nudish eggshell tone to highlight underneath the brown. Okay, if anybody has any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and I will get to them. But we're going to get started. I'm going to choose a really light shade brown. So let's look at this. So these are more of my cool tones. You can see how they are more gray, a little bit more ashy, while these over here are going to be a little bit more earth toned, a little warmer shades. So depending on your skin tone or what the occasion is or the look that you're going for, you can choose your brown shades based on that. But I'm just going to go from light to dark here and pick this very light taupey shade color. So just go in with a very light brown, and this is going to be our transition shade. So with the eye area, we have our lid, and as well as our crease. And you can see your natural crease, a nice way to look straight ahead at yourself in the mirror, and you can see where that natural indentation is. And so that's what we're really going to feature and highlight as that crease, and we're going to create depth by using shadow. And another reason why I love this palette, Shade and Light, is because it's the idea of using shade and light to either highlight or contour. So contouring is going to create depth, while highlighting is going to bring something forward. So that's why we generally like to keep our light shades in the inner corner of our eye to brighten, and then our darker shadowy shades in our crease to create depth. Okay. Very nice, Delaney. I love the James Charles palette. I still don't own it. All right. So just a light shade brown. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to start right here in the corner of my eye and kind of just fluff that into the crease here. And this is just going to be a light transition shade that will help everything go from light to dark and create a nice gradient. And you really just want to focus that in that crease. And you can even use your finger if you are not familiar with the crease area and really get a feel for where that crease indentation is. And that's what we're really going to highlight there. Or should I say contour. So super light application of that. It should look something like this. It's just giving us a light shading on the eye. And you can see how it's already kind of creating depth opposed to my blank canvas on this side. So I'm going to go in with more of that same shade on the other side. So again, starting right there in that outside corner of the eye, really kind of want to pack our shadow there. And so when you have your brush and you pick up your shadow, wherever you place that fully loaded brush down is going to be the most concentrated amount of pigment. So always kind of start in that outer corner where you want it to naturally be the darkest, and then we're going to pool that shadow because this shadow is going to move wherever we take it. So we can do a nice kind of windshield wiper back and forth motion with our fluffy brush just to get this nice and blended in here and give us a nice shadow to start with. Should be looking something like this. All right, and now I'm going to take a denser brush. So this is what I was using before. It was my fluffy blending brush. I'm going to take something a little bit more denser, meaning not quite as fluffy and a little bit more stiff. Oh, the first part, the kind of brush that I was using is a Morphe blending brush. And the code for this is M433. One of the reasons why I love Morphe brushes is they are affordable. They are priced really well. And honestly, I can't tell a difference between my higher end brushes of the same design. So I would highly recommend this. You can get them online at morphe.com, or I believe in stores at Ulta if you really want to go and explore the brushes and feel like the different densities of the brushes. All right, so I'm going to take, again, that denser brush. So this is the one we were using first. I'm going in with a little bit of a smaller brush just to pack more pigment. So something smaller like this and shorter bristled is going to hold more pigment. So I'm going to go in with our second shade. Sorry that this is like mirror imaged backwards for me. Okay, this guy right here. So just whatever your second shade of brown is, slightly darker than that first shade that we went in with. All right, looks something like this. And again, wherever we put down that fully loaded brush first is where our pigment is going to concentrate. So you never really want to start kind of mid-eye, or it will create kind of a patchy look. So we're going to start right here in the corner. We are going to shape that eye right there in that crease. And you can kind of start seeing that carve out the shape of my eye. And again, I am doing just back and forth motions, kind of like in a windshield wiper motion. That way I'm evenly distributing my pigment where I want it to go. I'm going to take that fluffy brush again, that blending brush, and we are going to blend with it. So again, this is where I concentrated the majority of my pigment. I'm going to take my fluffy brush here. We are going to blend that out. Fred, I would love to see a video challenge of you trying to do Jen's makeup after this. I'm not sure if Jen will be into that idea, but I would love to see it. See how much information you retained after that. All right, so you can see how that darker shade is starting to create a little bit more depth here and really accentuating the shape of our eye. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Symmetry is important. So again, I'm going to start in that outer corner, adding the majority of my pigment here. And we are going to shape that eye with that darker shadow, creating more depth than that initial lighter shade did. And again, I'm going to fluff that out with my blending brush. And with blending, I like to take the brush and pull in the direction that I want my pigment to go. And this gives you more control. Speaking of control, another good tip is if you are noticing that your eyeshadow is coming a little bit too patchy, a little bit too pigmented in one area, you might be holding your brush a little too close to the barrel. And that gives you too much control, which you think would be a good thing in makeup, but it creates a little bit too much density with your pigment. Holding it a little bit further back on the brush creates a looser paint. Oh, what am I trying to say here? It allows you to paint a little freer and cleanse the pigment rather than just packing it into the same area. So we're going to take that blending brush and just make sure this is nice and blended before we go in with that darker third shade that we talked about. All right, so here's my palette again. And I'm going to go in with this darker guy here. It's a dark brown shade. Again, I'm using that shorter brush, shorter bristled brush, a little bit more dense to pack our pigment in. And we want to start in that outside corner and just apply our pigment. Really focusing this one on the outside corner of the eye. I'm not going to take it too far in because I want to keep this light shading that I have created on the inside of my eye and create more of the depth on the outside. And by doing that, by concentrating your pigment on the outside of the eye, it's going to help open the eyes and make them look bigger and brighter and more wide awake. Which who couldn't use a little cheat to looking more awake and energetic right now? So I'm taking my fluffy brush again, and we're just going to blend out those harsh edges from where I've just pressed in that pigment. So if you can see that. We want those edges to be really nice and smooth. I think blending is key when it comes to doing a really pretty eyeshadow look. You can kind of see how that created a little bit more depth. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, taking that darker brown, packing that into the outside corner and rounding the outside of the eye here. And then blending. Blending, as you can tell, is a very common theme here with me. And again, I'm pulling my brush in one direction where I want my pigment to transfer to. All right, we're getting a little bit of a shadow shape here. And now I'm going to go in with a lighter shade on the inside of the eye here. And that can be any kind of white, eggshell, nude color. So I'm going to go in with this guy right here. It's kind of an off-white. And I'm going to pack that on the inside of my eye. And this will help brighten and open the eye. And we want to keep the darker colors on the outside, creating that nice wide open illusion. And same on the other side. I'm going to give it one little blend here. Now I'm going to go back in with a little bit of this lighter shade here. Delaney, I am using that same blending brush that I have been using. So any kind of fluffy brush will work great for that blending effect. So right now I've only used 2 brushes so far, or 3 brushes so far. These are what they are. One is my fluffy blending brush, this guy right here, and this blends and smooths all of our edges. This guy in the middle, which is a denser, shorter bristled brush, which really holds pigment. And then this brush, which is a flat brush that I use for really just painting my eyeshadow primer on, using that lighter shade in the inner corner. And from here, this could be your base for an everyday look. You could add eyeliner and mascara and call it a day. You could add a shimmer in place of this matte color to really kind of give it a little bit more of a going out effect. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that just so we can see the proper way to use a shimmer. Because all eyeshadows always come with so many shiny, shimmery colors. And if they don't go on the outside of the eye, it's kind of, what do you use them for? What brush did I use for the light color? Pretty much all of my blending, all of my application, I used my blending brush. And then my darker colors, to have a little bit more control of where my pigment was going to go, I used that shorter, denser brush. So I'm going to use that flat brush again and pick up a little bit of shimmer and put that on the inside corner of the eye. What do you think? Should we do a gold shimmer or a pink rose gold color? Anybody have any preference? I'll show you both. I don't know if you can see that through here. Maybe I should apply it over my eyeshadow primer. There we go. This is my rose gold shimmer, or we could do a gold. I see rose gold, so we're going in with that. I'm going to take that flat brush. Any kind of shimmer. I'm using a shimmer powder from Makeup Forever right now that I have on hand. But any kind of shiny, shimmery glitter shades that come in your palettes, you can apply any color to the inside of the eye. You can blend a little bit of both. So I'm going to take some of this gold here. We're going to do a little bit of both since I got both answers. And I'm going to pack that on the end, the center of my eye here, kind of right above your iris, right above this pupil of your eye here. So where I'm going to be applying this. And you could take this shade kind of all over the lid. Just for the sake of fun, I'm going to be doing a little bit of rose gold on the inside here. I'm blending those. Another trick I like to do is to take the shimmer and apply it to the inside corner of the eye as well. I'm use my finger, it's a little bit easier to get in that small area there. And that's really going to brighten the eye as well. Now I'm going to leave one side just matte. Jordan! I think it went away. Are we still on? I'm like, Jordan got a FaceTime call in here, so I'm not sure if it kicked me off. I think we're still good. All right, we're going to keep going. All right, so eyeliner. This is a fun way to jazz up the eye look. You can use a brown for a more natural look, or a black if you want it to be a little bit more dramatic, or liquid eyeliner if you're really wanting to take it up a notch. I'm going to go in with brown just to show you a soft everyday look and how to kind of smudge this out. All right. So starting in the outside corner of my eye, I'm going to take just a, this one's by Makeup Forever. It's a waterproof eyeliner pencil. Any kind of eyeliner you have, brown, black, both are great. Brown's a really nice option if you're wanting more of a softer, natural, everyday look opposed to black, which can be a little bit more dramatic. So I'm going to show you both. So on this eye where I don't have the shimmer, I'm going to use the brown liner, starting in the outside corner of my eye here. And we really just want to kind of smudge this along the waterline of our eye, so not our lash line. So we're going to take this and just wiggle it in our lash line, trying to be a little bit thinner as we go in. And I'm going to take a brush. So this is a smudge brush. It's a very short, dense, I have eyeshadow all over my hands, rounded brush here. You guys can see that? And I'm going to take this and smudge out this eyeliner. And you want to do this pretty quickly before it has a chance to dry down and not become as workable. And we're just kind of blending that out, and that will give us a nice, eyeliner makes a world of difference. So I'm going to look straight ahead just so you can see the eye with the eyeliner versus the one without, as far as the way it really opens the eye. And we want to focus that eyeliner. Again, same thing, same trend with our eyeshadow. We want to focus that more towards the outside of the eye to really open the eye and keep the lighter shades on the inside to brighten. You want to make sure that you get that nice and close to your lash line. And the brush and stick liner trick is really nice because before it dries down, you have a good chance to kind of manipulate that creamy crayon texture to where you want it to go and reshape it. So if you're not an eyeliner pro on that liquid eyeliner first smooth glide, the pencil and a brush is a really good way to get your eyeliner to work for you and manipulate the shape. And if you even mess up, this guy is really easy to fix. On this side, let's go with a wing liner, just so I can kind of demonstrate both today. So I'll be looking a little crazy by the end of this with two different eyes, but that way you can see a little bit of everything. So I am taking a liquid eyeliner now. This one is by NYX. It's just a felt tip liner. And I am going to do a straight line across my lid. So with this, with my felt tip liner, I can really get this as close to my lash line as possible and just lay it kind of flat on its side and do little stamp motions. And this is going to give us a really good baseline to either perfect all the way across or even take it out and do a wing liner, but a good way to kind of line our eye first is using a stamping motion with a liquid liner. It's a little bit more foolproof than trying to do a single swipe. And now I'm just kind of taking that liner and smoothing it out. So kind of the difference there between a liner with the liquid versus the pencil. All right. And now I'm going to curl my lashes before I apply mascara. That is optional. So up to you on that. I'm just going to give them a little bit more of a lift. If you are younger, ask an adult a good way to use these guys, because I remember when I was learning, poking my eye out more than a few times. So they can be a little dangerous contraption if you do not know how to use them. All right, so we're just pinching our lashes in there, get a nice curl. And I really love the part where I get to add mascara and see kind of what this is looking like. So today I'm using, I believe, a Dior Show mascara. Whatever you have on hand is great. And I like to start at the bottom of the lash and really wiggle that brush up. That way it's getting a nice curl and getting those lashes nice and coated. And the same thing on the other side. Now you can kind of see some of our differences of what a shimmer looks like versus the matte, and liquid eyeliner versus the pencil. It's a little bit soft. This is a little bit more sharp, a little bit more done. This is a really softer look for every day. And I, in my excitement to put on mascara, skipped a step. So we're going to add a little eyeshadow to the bottom lash line here. So I would pick light brown or your medium brown shade to go in underneath the eye with that. I'm going to use this guy right here. I'm using that shorter, denser brush that we've been using, and I'm going to take that underneath my lash line. And this really does a good job of opening up the eye. So starting on the outside corner, I'm just going to take that not all the way in, about right where your lash line, your bottom lash line kind of ends there, or where it becomes a lot fewer in lashes. Just going to line that there. And this makes a huge difference as far as making the eye look a lot more open and finished. We do the same thing on the other side. All right. And now I'm going to take a white eyeliner. If you don't have anything like this is okay. This is just a fun optional step. I also like to use more of a nude shade as well, kind of a skin tone color. But today I have white on hand, so I'm going to use that. And this one is waterproof, which does help because I am going to be applying it into the waterline, which helps open and brighten, which is the theme of eye makeup, is making our eyes look really bright, open, and awake. All right, so I'm going to take that. No inside waterline. And that does a really amazing job of really brightening the eyes. You see the difference? Let's go ahead and do the other side as well. And when you do this, be very careful with that delicate under eye area and not to be tugging on it too dramatically. It's very delicate, sensitive skin there. And now another optional last minute look. If you really have a special occasion, wanting to take this up a notch as far as the glam level goes, I love some false eyelashes. I'm going to be using some I picked up at the grocery store, since that's the only place that we are really able to go right now, by a brand called Ardell. These are some of my favorite drugstore lashes that I found are the naked lashes. They have the Invisiband, so they're really lightweight on the eyes and not too heavy and bulky. I hate when lashes, you can feel them the whole time you're wearing them. So I'm going to go ahead and open this box. Easier said than done. So let's try on some lashes. So the first thing for eyelashes is measuring them to your eye. They come in a standard one size fits all, which is a lot of times too big for most people. So we want to take our strip lash, and I'm going to hold that up to my eye and see how that fits. And right now this has no adhesive on it, so straight out of the box I'm just going to be applying it up here to see the length. So that's kind of what it looks like. It's not overly long, but I am going to trim it a little bit. I don't like when my lash comes too far in here. Sometimes I get a poking from the lash on the inside corner, which is not comfortable. So I'm going to trim it just a slight bit on the outside. Can you take that? Hi, Jordan. And we're going to trim a little bit from the outside corner. So let me get this to where you can see it. So this is a very important step, is to trim from the outside of the lash. So the inside of the lash is always going to be shorter, and the outside is going to be a little bit thicker and fan out more. So if you need to take away any length, you always want to do it from the outside, since this side is made to taper on the inside of your eye. So I'm just going to trim a little bit from the outside, just very, very, very small amount. You can see that. And of course, same on the other side. Once we have them trimmed, we can take our lash adhesive and mine fell on the floor. All right, so we're going to take our bands here, and we are going to just apply a thin layer of glue to our band here. And the key to lashes is to let this glue dry down and become a little tacky, and not put it on right away, right as soon as we apply our glue on there. So I'm going to set this one down and move on to the other lash. Put some glue on there, and then we can apply. I'm going to fan it a little bit because my glue is a little too wet and I don't have the patience to wait for it. So it's a nice trick if you're in a hurry. And we want to give our lashes a nice bend, just so they kind of have that contour to hug the eye. I personally like to start with the inside of the lash and lay it where I want it to go, and then lay it on the outside. So let's try that. Just gonna set that down on the inside here. Press it in with my finger. And I like to give them a nice underneath. I take my thumb underneath my lash, my pointer finger on the top, and just give them a nice pinch to blend the lash with my natural lash. There we go. See what it looks like. Lashes versus not. So this would be more of my nighttime, going to dinner look. More of a soft daytime look with our pencil eyeliner and our matte colors. I'll go ahead and put this one on so we can match. And again, I'm going to go in and pinch it together just so I get a nice blend there. Wow, guys, I'm really surprised that worked. My lashes outside of this are never that easy, so. All right. So now that they've blended, if a little bit of your eyeliner came up during the lash application, you can always take that liner and just kind of re-go over that. That makes it look really nice and finished. So I'm just going to paint over that lash band to make it as invisible as possible, to make it look as much like my natural lash as possible. Same on the other side. And there you have it. I feel like I should blend my other eye. I'm going to go ahead and add some shimmer on the other eye just so I match for the rest of the day. Not that I have big plans or anything, but you know. So I'm going to take that flat brush again with my gold shimmer that I used earlier in the video. Now I'm just going to make my eye match really quick. So I'm going to just take a little bit of that shimmer on both eyes here. And again, on that inner corner, because that really does a nice brightening trick there. And there you have it. Does anybody have any questions? You can leave them in the comments. I will try to answer them as quickly as possible. You can also reach out to me directly and message me if you have any questions about the products that I used today or want any specific advice or tips. Let's see here. And I'm so excited that you guys all joined me today to get ready and do a simple eye makeup look so we can all look so fabulous in our living rooms today. And also, this video will be available on the Orange Ribbons for Jamie YouTube account if you would like to view it again, slow things down a little bit, or share with a friend. And hopefully I will be seeing you very soon, Delaney. We are moving back to Austin if everything goes well, so stay tuned. Hi, Erica. Love you guys. And make sure to check out all of the other amazing lives that have been happening on the Orange Ribbons for Jamie Facebook account, as well as the ones uploaded to their YouTube and the ones that are coming. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. Bye.